All right, Shabbos, good morning. Let's begin. First, I want to thank Peter for being here yesterday. All right, I just want to thank. Yeah, we'll start over. We'll say good morning. So, thank Sayyid and Smehikin for dedicating the shir in honor of the Yom Noraim. For Kol Chol Yisrael and Halavai Achasim Atova for all of Klal Yisrael as well. Amen. I just want to say, let's begin. Today's daf is daf Ayin. We are starting from the Mishnah. It says the Mishnah, Me'ima Chayiv. So remember again, we're speaking about Ben Sofer Umora. We're speaking about again as the Mishnah already introduced us to the rebellious son, and now the Mishnah is going to begin to get into some of the mechanics concerning this particular halacha. So Me'ima Chayiv. At what point in time does a boy actually become Ben Sofer Umora? What does he have to do in order to become Ben Sofer Umora? Mishiyochel tartimar basar v'yishtech chatzi log yayin. As soon as he eats a tartimar, and we'll discuss exactly how much that is, then as soon as he eats a tartimar of meat, and he drinks chatzi log yayin ha'italki, a half a lug of Italian wine. Rabbi Yossi says, mana basar v'lug yayin. Rabbi Yossi says, no, he has to eat a mana of basar, a mana of wine, and a lug of wine, a mana of meat, and he has to drink a lug of wine. Achal bechaburas mitzvah. If, however, let's say, the Gemara is going to explain this, let's say you have a situation where the boy steals the money, and he goes in and he purchases the wine, he purchases the meat, but he ends up eating it with what the Mishnah calls a chaburas mitzvah. Rashi says over here, bechaburas mitzvah, it's the third wide line from the top. It says besudas mitzvah. He eats it, let's say again, in the context of a sudas mitzvah. It's an interesting case. So he steals money to purchase meat, to purchase wine, but he ends up eating it like as part of a siyum, as part of a sudas mitzvah. So what's that? So the halacha is, and we're going to see there's a whole list of situations where it doesn't qualify as Ben Sofer Umora, or achal b'ibar achodesh, or as we'll see in the Gemara, they used to make a seuda when they would go ahead and they would extend the month, make it an ibar chodesh, which means again they'd add on an extra day to the month. So they would have the seuda when they would make that declaration, or achal ma'aser sheni b'Yushalayim, or if he ends up eating it as ma'aser sheni Yerushalayim, or achal nevelas treifos, or if he ends up eating nevelas and treifos, or shkatzim v'ramasim, all type of non-kosher items, or achal tevel or ma'aser rishon shlenitlat shumaso, or if he ate tevel, which is untithed items, or ma'aser rishon shlenitlat shumaso, or ma'aser rishon from which shuma has not been removed, or ma'aser sheni v'hektish shelo niftu, or ma'aser sheni or hektish that have not been redeemed. Achol davar shu mitzvah v'davar shu aveira. If he eats something that is a mitzvah and an aveira, again we'll discuss in the Gemara what exactly that is. Achol kol ma'achol below achol basar, or if he stole money to purchase any kind of food items, but it wasn't meat, or shasa kol mashke below shasa yayin, or he stole money to purchase drink, but it wasn't wine. And both say in all of these cases, Eino Na'aseh Ben Sofer Umora. So we'll say in all of these situations, in that entire list that we just read, so any of these situations, if he stole money and ate meat and drank wine, or stole money and purchased these other items, so he would not become a Ben Sofer Umora. Achi Eino Na'aseh Ben Sofer Umora, Achi Yocha Basar. I will say bottom line is that he only becomes a Ben Sofer Umora if he goes in and steals money to purchase meat, to eat, and he eats meat and drinks wine. Shne'emar zolel v'sovei. Because it will say when the pasuk describes the Ben Sofer Umora, this is actually, again, this is the speech that the parents make to the Sanhedrin. The parents say, Va'amru zikne iro, beinu zeh sorer umora, einenu shomeh b'kolenu zolel v'sovei. So we'll say zolel v'sovei means he's gluttonous. He's gluttonous. So how do we know that gluttony refers to meat and wine? Even though, again, we have no explicit proof. Nevertheless, zecher l'davar. Ultimately, again, we have a scriptural allusion. What's the scriptural allusion? Shne'emar al tihi b'sove yayin or b'zolele basar lamo. Because we'll say the Gemara calls the pasuk in Mishlei, do not be among the ones who sate themselves of wine and who are gluttonous with meat. So you see again the lashon of zolel and sove ultimately refers to meat and wine. We'll say second wide line, ayin aleph. I'm Rabbi Zera. Tartimar zeh in yodeh. So we'll say Rabbi Zera comes along and says the following. Remember, we have machlokes in the Mishnah as to the shiurim of meat and wine that would make a child chayiv. Now again, I'm using child, but as we established already in yesterday's daf, or really actually 2 days ago, that ultimately, again, this is talking about a boy who is over bar mitzvah, but just over bar mitzvah. So the Gemara, so Rabbi Zera says over here, we have machlokes in the Mishnah about how much meat and wine this young man has to eat and drink. So the first opinion said a tartimar of meat and a half a lug of wine. Rabbi Yossi says a mana of meat and a lug of wine. So Rabbi Zera says tartimar ze'ini yodeh. I don't know how much a tartimar is. I don't know what this amount is. But since Rabbi Yossi seems to double the shiurim of the Tanakama, nimtza kofel af bebasar. So we'll say Rabbi Yossi, one thing we know is Tanakama said half a lug of wine, and Rabbi Yossi said a whole lug of wine. So it appeared that Rabbi Yossi is doubling the shiurim. So now that I know that he's doubling the shiur of wine, but Pashtos, he's doubling the shiur of meat also. So kofel av basar, benimtzar tartimar chatzimana. Therefore, it turns out that a tartimar, because Rabbi Yossi holds that he has to steal enough money to purchase a mana of meat, which would seem to tell us that what? That a tartimar is a half a mana of meat. Amar Rav Chanan bar Molda Amar Rav Huna Eno chayiv achikach basar bezol v'yochal yayin bezol v'yishta. This is actually another very interesting statement. Rav Huna comes along and says that the ben sorar umora is only chayiv if he purchases meat at a discount and if he purchases wine at a discount. Now, this is not like a din in being Jewish. This is actually very interesting. But say, look at Rashi for just a moment over here. Yayin bizol, aval biyoker lo shchichi le maos lignov kulei v'lo mamshech. So listen to this. What's the issue of Ben Sora Umora? As we've already seen, Ben Sora Umora is executed based not on what he's done, but about what? Or based on what we are concerned he will become. Meaning that someone who is so gluttonous at such a young age, Chazal felt, ultimately is going to kill people, steal from people, whole variety of things in order to support his habits. It's actually very interesting. So the Gemara therefore says the following. The only thing we have to be concerned about is if we see that he's purchasing meat and wine at a discount. Because if he's finding it cheap, then that is a supportable habit. If on the other hand, he's paying retail, if at the end of the day, he's going ahead and he's purchasing at full price, this is not a sustainable lifestyle. Because even as a thief, even if he's going to rob people, thievery or theft is only going to get him so far. If he doesn't know how to find it cheap, he won't be able to sustain it. Therefore, interestingly enough, Rav Chanan and Rav Huna, that is only if he's buying meat and wine at discounted prices. Dechsiv zolel v'sove. So it's actually a little bit of a play on words, because the pasuk says zolel v'sove, which Rashi is pointing out over here is zol, a lashon of cheap. So we define it really literally means gluttony, but also the shorish over here is the same for cheap. Okay, so more for Arachanan bar Molda Amar Rav Huna eno chayiv ad sheyochal basar chayiv v'yishte yayin chayiv. Furthermore, Rav Chanan says, name of Rav Huna, that the ben sorar umora is only chayiv if he eats basar chayiv. Basar chayiv means raw meat, and yayin chayiv means undiluted wine. So we're going to define what this means in just a moment. So the Gemara Sini is that so? Vaha Rabba Rav Yosef Tamar Tavayu Achol Basar Chayiv V'Shasa Yayin Chayiv Eno Nasa Ben Sorar Umora. But yet again, we have on record that Rabba and Rav Yosef both said that if the Ben Sorar Umora eats raw meat or drinks undiluted wine, he's not a Ben Sorar Umora. In other words, if the boy drinks undiluted wine or raw meat, that doesn't make you a Ben Sorar Umora. Ravina said, no, this is what it means. Yayin Chayiv, what does it mean when he says that the Ben Sorar Umora is Chayiv for undiluted wine? Mazik velo mazik. What it means that it's diluted, but not diluted in the right proportions. Basar chai, raw meat means bashal velo bashal. It's cooked, but not cooked enough. Ki basar kiba da achli ganvi. Like kiba meat, like basar kiba, that thieves eat. So Rashi points out, thieves, but one thing that a thief doesn't have the luxury of, usually it's time, he's eating on the run. So how would thieves often cook their meat? They would go ahead and essentially they would char it so that the outside would become charred, but the inside was raw. This was called thieves' meat. So we'll say, see, interestingly enough, the Gemara says over here, he's only a ben sorer umora. Same thing with diluting the wine. They didn't have time to dilute in normal measures. So they diluted a little bit to make it basically drinkable. They charred the meat to make it basically edible. So the idea, we'll say, this whole idea of ben sorer umora is that the child only becomes a ben sorer umora if he demonstrates what we'll call sustainable negative behaviors. So meaning, if he needs to eat fully cooked meat, then the truth is he's not going to have a future in a life of crime, because a thief doesn't have luxury of eating fully roasted meat. If he needs to have his wine perfectly diluted, he's not going to have a future in thievery, because again, a thief doesn't have that luxury. So it's only if he engages in the behaviors like a thief. So he's eating this scorched meat. I don't know if that's the right culinary term, but you understand what I mean. It's scorched on the outside, but it's raw on the inside. Seared. Thank you. Seared meat. Thank you. Right? So I'm not going to ask how you know that. I'm sorry. Oh, Schoenfeld's okay. Fine. Or the wine. We'll say, so again, if he demonstrates these behaviors that are thief-like, then Lamaisi can be judged as a ben sorer or mora. So the Gemara goes back to Rabba Rav Hosek Tamit Tarbayu. Achal basar malech v'shasya nigito inasa ben sorer mora. So we'll say Rabbi and Rabbi Yosef both said that if he ate salted meat, or if he drank wine, yayin migito, Rabbi Yosef means wine right from the press. So if he ate salted meat or drank wine right from the press, ein na'aseh ben sorer umora. Then ultimately, again, he does not become a ben sorer umora. Now Rashi says over here, why not? So we'll say Rashi's almost right across to the left. Rashi says over here, basar malech yayin migito, lo chashivi v'lo mamshich. We'll say these are not considered to be chashiva food items. So salted meat is considered to be inferior, and wine from the press is considered to be inferior also. So we'll say, again, the concern over here is twofold. Number one, so the first things we've established is that he only becomes a ben sorer umora if he's engaging in practices that are technically sustainable through a life of thievery. Number two, we're going to see that he only becomes a ben sorer umora if he becomes addicted to types of foods that are, I should say, if he gets involved with the type of food items that are addictive in nature, things that people are mamshich, things that people are drawn after. But apparently, salted meat and wine right from the press are not high quality items, and therefore we're not concerned that he's going to become addicted to these items, and therefore we need to support this habit through a life of crime. So Gemara says, Tanan Hassam, supposed to listen to this. It's actually quite interesting. Erev Tisha B'Av. On Erev Tisha B'Av, lo yochal adam shnei tavshilin v'lo yochal basar lo yishtain. We'll say, so we know again, the halach is that Erev Tisha B'Av, this is by the Suda Mafsakes, a person cannot eat two cooked items, nor should he eat meat and drink wine. We'll say, just let's say something interesting. We look at this and we say, what a strange thing, because our minhag is that we're already what? Not eating meat or drinking wine already from Rosh Chodesh Av. So we know again, that is not midina de Gemara. Midina de Gemara, the prohibition of meat and wine begins at the Sulam of Sekes on Erev Tisha B'Av. Midina de Gemara, one could eat meat and drink wine over the course of the 9 days. Again, we take upon ourselves extra stringencies for the 9 days. So that's the Gemara talking about over here. Really, from the Sulam of Sekes, a person can eat meat and drink wine. Vitana, we learned, let's listen to this. At the Sulam of Sekes, you can eat salted meat and drink wine from the press. Why? Because these are considered to be more inferior items. Therefore, you can eat them and drink them even at the Suda Mafsakes. So, what's the definition of salted meat? So let's listen to this. So the definition of salted meat is meat that has remained in salt for 2 days and 1 night, like the period of the window of consumption for a carbon shlamim. Once it's sat in salt for 2 days and 1 night, then by definition it's called salted meat, is considered to be of an inferior state, and you can even go ahead and eat it at the Suda Mafsakes on Erev Tisha B'Av. V'yayin migito, they both say, when is it considered to be wine, ultimately again from the press? Kozman shu toses, as long as it's in the process of fermentation. Ayavatanya, but we learned, yayin toses in Bamishim Gilui, yet we learned that fermenting wine, I will say, is not subject to the issue of Gilui Mashkin. Gilui Mashkin, I will say, refers to the idea that one is not supposed to drink liquids that remain uncovered over the course of the night. Remember again, this was a takanas chazal out of a concern of snake venom. Snake venom. Interestingly enough, a concern that ultimately a snake may come, inject its venom into the liquid, and ultimately again, chas v'shalom, cause sakana. But apparently, again, the snakes don't come to fermenting wine. They come to sisa. So we'll say how much, at what point in time is it considered to be yain tov? Says shlosha yomim, 3 days from the pressing. Hachamai. So we'll say, so the question is, how do we apply these criteria to ben sora umora? So the Gemara says, hasa mishum simcho calls machu kishlamim nami is simcha. So we'll say, when it comes to erev Tisha B'av, the idea is you're not allowed to eat anything that engenders simcha. Therefore, again, as long as the meat has not sat in salt for the period of consumption of shlamim, i.e., for 2 days and 1 night, then such meat will still cause simcha. We'll say here by Ben Sora Mora, what we are concerned is if the Ben Sora Mora eats things that are addictive in nature. In other words, that he'll be drawn after. So we'll say, interestingly enough, if the meat has sat in salt for any amount of time, apparently, again, it becomes less desirable, and we're not concerned that the Ben Sora Umora is going to be drawn, the child is going to be drawn after that, become addicted to this, and have to resort to a life of crime to support this habit. The yayin ad mem yom. Wine, I will say, up to 40 days. So up to 40 days, ultimately, again, it's still considered to be yayin. Those is fermenting wine, and therefore, up to 40 days, it's considered to be non-habit forming. Therefore, I will say, the Ben Sora Umora eats meat that was steeped in salt for any amount of time, or wine within the first 40 days after it's been pressed, then Lamaisa, these are considered to be non-habit forming items. We're not concerned the Ben Sora, the child, Ben Sora Mora, the young boy is going to be drawn after this, and therefore he does not become Ben Sora Mora. So we'll say the Gemara now talks a little bit about wine. Amar Chanan, Lo nivra yain ba'olam, ela lenachim avelim, or the shining scholar Rishon. It's actually quite amazing. So Rav Hanan said, wine was only created to console mourners and to give reward to the wicked. So what does this mean? So remember, we saw from our Moed Cotton days, he used to have a very interesting practice by Talmudic funerals. After the Levaya, the Avelim would come back, right, after the Kvura, after the burial, and they would be given a kos shel tanchumin. So literally a cup of consolation. So what's the kos shel tanchumin? Literally, it was a huge cup of wine. And the Avelim would be encouraged to essentially drink it. To drink it, to mamish finish the cup. And what was the goal of this? It wasn't to inebriate them, but the goal was to take the edge off of the pain. So the Gemara is saying over here is that the Rebbe Shalom created alcohol to be able to create wine, to be able to take the edge off the pain of the Avelim. On the flip side, and to give joy to the Rishayim in this world, and therefore to give them their reward. Notice, even Rishayim do good things. So Moshe gives the Rishayim their reward through what? Through wine. So Rosh has a glass of wine, he gets hana, that's his schar. Shnei amar, tinu sheichar la'oved, v'yayin l'marei nefesh. As the Pasuk says, as the Pasuk in Mishlei says, tinu sheichar la'oved, give intoxicating beverage la'oved, to the one who is lost. So the Gemara over here understands that to be a reference to the Rasha, v'yayin l'marei nefesh, and give wine to the one who is bitter of soul. In other words, that's the Avel. What does it mean when the Pasuk says, literally translated means, do not look at wine because it makes you red. Literally means do not look after, which means do not long after wine that makes the face of the wicked red in this world. Meaning, so the wicked drink it, they become very happy in this world, but yet again they become pale in the world to come. Recognizing that they got reward for their mitzvos through the benefit of wine in this world, but ultimately again they are judged, they become pale with judgment in the world to come. Rava Amarava says, Atir yayin ki yisadam, Atir yayin shachari sodam. Do not get caught up in wine, for its end is blood. We'll say, what does that mean? That a person drinks wine, too much wine, they can get themselves into an incredible amount of trouble. Ultimately, again, they can end up doing things which Chas v'Shalom would carry with them a din of Nisa. Rav Kahana Ramiksiv, Rav Kahana contrasts the Psukim. Pasuk says, Tirosh, the Karinon, I'm sorry, I should say it differently. ksiv tirash. So we'll say when you look at that word, you can vocalize it as tirash with the shin. Vakarinan tirosh. But we go ahead and we read it ultimately again tirosh. So we'll say what's the difference between tirash and tirosh? Zacha is actually very interesting. Zacha naase rosh. We'll say if a person uses wine properly, they can become a rosh, they can become a leader. Lo zacha. If a person uses wine inappropriately, naase rash. They can become a pauper. So say, so what does this mean? What does this mean? So say the idea over here is wine, if used properly, could open the heart of a person in a good way, can make a person receptive to the brachas in life, can make a person receptive to different ideas, make a person open up a person's heart and mind to different forms of Torah, different forms of knowledge. So if used correctly, tirosh, it can make them a rosh. If used inappropriately, tirash, it could impoverish. So the Gemara goes out Rava Ramiksiv. It says Rava Ramiksiv Yismach Vikarina. I should say Ksiv Yishmach Vikarinan Yismach. So what does this mean? Zocha Mesamcho. If a person knows how to use wine properly, it can make him a simcha, lo zacha. But if he uses it inappropriately, mishamamehu, it can ultimately destroy him. Vahainu da amarav, and this is what Rava said. Chamra v'reichani pikchin. I attribute my wisdom to what? To wine and to good sense. Good SSCENT, right? To go in a good smell. So we'll say, what does that mean? So Rava says that I attribute my greatness to the wine I drank and to the besamim that I smelled. We'll say, what does that mean? That's the source of Rava's greatness. So we'll say it's an incredible use. What Rava's saying is like this, that what makes great people great, it's very easy in life to live in the extremes. It's very easy to say everything is asr, and it's very easy to say everything is mutter. So great wisdom comes when a person learns the art of moderation. So moderation essentially teaches us that you could enjoy many, many, many beautiful things in this world, as long as you enjoy them responsibly. So Rava says, I attribute my greatness to my ability to enjoy and to experience the world in proper moderation. So the Gemara goes weiter. So we'll say here the Gemara is going to darshan an incredibly interesting pasuk from Mishlei. So the pasuk says, Lemi ai, right? Who is the one who cries out woe? Lemi avui. Well, again, both lashonos of tza'ak, of crying out. Lemi medanim. Who is the one ultimately again who has pleasures in life? Lemi siach. Lemi pitzaim chinam. Who is the one who cries out? Who is the one who has unnecessary wounds? Lemi chachlilos einayim. Who is the one who has redness of the eyes? Lema'acharim alayayin. To those who go ahead and spend a lot of time with wine. Leboim lach kormi masach. To those who go ahead and try to seek out fine wines. What does this mean? Ki asa ravdimi amri b'mar Rava haikra. This is when it comes to this pasuk. Man de darish lemeresh l'seifa medrash. The one who darshans it, Rabbi said, from beginning to end, darshan it appropriately. When we say for the reisha medrash darish, and the one who goes ahead and darshans it from the end to the beginning also darshans it properly. So what's happening over here? Take a look at Rashi for just a moment. It's the last short line of Rashi. Medrash. So we'll say, so remember again, the Gemara says this pasuk can be darshan from the beginning to the end. It can also be darshan from the end to the beginning. So the one who darshaned it from the beginning to the end, darshaned it correctly. Look at Rashi, last short line, Medrash. Rashi says, Nidrash mashmu useyaf evachi kamar lemi kolela. We'll say, who is the one in life who has all of these problems? Lema'acharim alayayin leboim lach kormi masach shechokrin lehechan ayayin atov. How was I? So we'll say, what the Gemara is saying over here is, if you darshan from beginning to end, what the pasuk means is the following. Who is the one who's always crying eye? Who is the one who has injuries? Who is the one who has redness of eyes? He is the one who abuses his wine, who abuses his alcohol. The person spends his life seeking out good wine. He's going to suffer all kinds of things. The one, look at the second wide line in Rashi. Oman darshan is safe for the reisha medrash. We'll say, but you can also darshan this pasuk from the end to the beginning. And how do you do that? Nidrash mashmu usa yafevachi kamar l'miyesh lo oy vavoy v'siach dahainu avelim. So we'll say, if you darshan it backwards, we'll say the way you would say is the following. You would say, for the one who cries out in pain, which is a reference to the Avel, ultimately, again, he is the one ultimately who should avail himself of wine. Furthermore, who is the other one? We'll say this goes back to what we said before. That who did HaKadosh Baruch Hu create wine for? He created wine for the mourners and for the Rishonim. For the mourners to go ahead and take the edge off their pain, and for the Rishonim ultimately to what? To give them reward for their mitzvos in this world. So we'll say if you darshan the pasuk from the end to the beginning, then the pasuks make your reference ultimately again to the Avelim and to the Rishon. Fine. Over Galilah. So excuse me, Darish over Galilah. Yud Gimel Vav Ne'emru B'Yanim. This is actually an amazing piece of Gemara. So over, this is the guy's name. Over the Galilean, over Galilah, darshan the following idea. There are 13 Vavs by wine. This is by the episode of Noach. The pasuk says, "Vayachal Noach ish Adama vayitaker vayishtu min hayayin vayishkar vayiskal basoch ohalo." So I say the pasuk says, "Vayachal Noach ish Adama." So Noach, the man of the earth. Now Vayachal can either mean he began or he profaned himself. And what did he do? He planted a vineyard. He drank from the wine. He became intoxicated. And then Rabbi say, Vayiska b'soch halo means he became uncovered in his tent. Vayar Cham avi Kenan es ervas aviv. So Cham, the father of Kenan, saw the nakedness of his father. Vayagid l'shnei he told his two brothers, bachutz, outside of the tent. Vayikach Shem v'Yefes es hasimla. So Shem and Yefes took the cloak. Vayasimu al Shechem Shneim. They put it on their shoulders. Vayelchu achoronis. They went backwards into the tent of their father in order not to see his nakedness. Vayichasu es ervas avihem. They covered the nakedness of their father, upneihem, and ultimately again they looked away. So what happens? Vayikatz Noach mi'eno. It's all the pasuk. Noach woke up, meaning that the effects of the wine wore off. Noach woke up. Vayeda is asher asa lo b'no hakatan, and he realized what Cham, his youngest son, had did to him. So now the Gemara is going to discuss what exactly did Cham do to Noah? To Noah, excuse me. Rav Shmuel. So Rav Shmuel said the following: Chad Amar. Rav Shmuel. Chad Amar Sarso. So one opinion says that Cham castrated Noah. Now, why would Cham castrate Noah? So this goes to a deeper narrative, which is that Cham did not want Noah having any more children. Why not? Because the children of Noah understood that they were going to divide up the world amongst themselves. Cham apparently did not want to have to divide his portion of the world anymore, so he castrates his father. No more offspring. The Chad Amar Rovo. The other opinion says that he actually raped his father. Manda Amar Sarso. So the one who says that he castrated his father, since Cham prevented his father from having a fourth son, therefore Cham's fourth son was cursed. Remember again, who was Cham's fourth son? Kenan. Right? So Kenan was cursed ultimately again to be Avadim. Oman Amaravo, the one who says that he violated his father, Gamar Vayar. He makes Gzer Shava. What's the Gzer Shava? It says over here that Cham saw the herb of his father. It says by Shechem and Dinah, Vayar Osa Shechem ben Chamor. And it says that ultimately again Shechem ben Chamor saw Dinah. And just like Shechem violated Dinah, so too again Cham violated his father. So I say ultimately again I understand, according to the opinion, it says that Cham castrated his father, and prevented him from having a fourth son. That's why Noah curses Cham's fourth son. Right? So I don't, but according to the one who says that Cham violated his father, so why does Noach Dafka curse Cham's fourth son? Just curse Cham himself. To which the Gemara says, ha havi. To which the Gemara says, according to Mandam who says that Cham violated his father, he didn't just violate his father, rather he violated him and what? And he also castrated him. He did both to him. So the pasuk says that Noach, the man of the earth, profaned himself, and he planted a vineyard. God says to Noach, why didn't you learn the lesson of Adam Arishon? Because what did Adam Arishon say? We'll say, how did Adam Arishon get himself into trouble? Adam Arishon got into trouble with wine. So we'll say it's actually very interesting. According to this approach of the Gemara, Adam Harishon's sin was a result of wine. So what does this mean? So the Gemara says, Kiman da Amar, Osa ilan sha'achlu mimeno Adam Harishon gefen haya. Because I will say, Gemara reflects the opinion that what? That the tree from which Adam Harishon ate, was not really a tree at all, but was rather a what? Was a vine. Was a vine. Adam Harishon ate grapes. So which Chazal are interpreting ultimately to mean he partook of wine. This Sanya, Rabbi Meir Omer, Osa ilan sha'achal Adam Harishon gefen haya. So I say, because again, Rabbi Meir says that the tree from which Adam Harishon partook was in fact gefen, was in fact ultimately again wine, was grapes. Amadeus she'in lecha davar shemaybi ilal la'adam ela yain. Because I will say there is nothing that brings people to tears like wine. As I will say, so what does this mean? But the Rabbi Meir is saying is the following: if you look at which fruit in this world gets people into the most amount of trouble, so everyone will agree that it's what? That it's grapes which produce wine. Therefore, Rabbi Meir is saying it's only logical, therefore, that the tree that got Adam Harishon into trouble must have been what? Must have been geffen, must have been grapes as well. Rabbi Yehuda says it was chita, it was grain. Because a child only knows how to speak. A child can only say Abba and Ima after he has his first taste of grain. So the idea is that apparently there's a certain element of das that comes when a child first ingests grain products. Therefore, it can only be that Adam Harishon must have been eaten from grain in order to be able to partake of it, in order to make this mistake. Rabbi Nechemia Omer, Rabbi Meir says, no, it was a fig. In fact, what Adam Harishon ate was a fig. Shebedavar shekilkolobo niskanu. Because I will say why. Because the very item with which Adam Harishon made his mistake, that was the item which he fixed himself with. Shneimar vayitparu aleitena. This is actually very interesting. Because remember, after Adam and Chava eat from the Eizas Torah, they realized that they're unclothed. So what did they clothe? What did they cover themselves with? Fig leaves. So according to this approach, all the other trees refused to give them of their leaves. It was only the fig tree that gave them leaves, because the fig tree, since that was the fruit they sinned with, therefore again, what? Therefore, Allah said those are the leaves they covered themselves with. Let's just say something interesting. If you notice again, but what is not on this list? Apples. Right? It's very interesting, right? Again, for some reason, so there's this conception that Adam and Chava ate from an apple. So where does that come? Now, again, I just want to point out, now, obviously the Zohar brings down apples, but the Gemara never records it. So where does apples come from? So we'll say, actually comes from a very interesting source. That if you look, by the way, in Parshas Toldos, so remember again, when Yaakov Avinu comes in to get the brachos from Yitzchak, and he's dressed up as Esav, so what does Yitzchak say to Yaakov? Re'eh, re'ach beni kereach hasoda. So Yitzchak says, wow, what a beautiful scent. You smell like the field. So Rashi HaKadosh says, smell like the field. There's nothing that smells worse than a hunter who's just been slaughtering animals. Rather, if you look at Rashi, what does Rashi say? That Yitzchak Avinu smelled on Yaakov sedei tapuchim. He smelled like an apple orchard. And the reach of Gan Eden is like an apple orchard. So this must come from this idea. The reach of Gan Eden is the reach tapuchim. So somehow again, this became kind of one with the Adam and Chava narrative. The scent of Gan Eden is reach tapuchim. So somehow it became over time understood that Adam and Chava ate from apples. But if you notice again from the Gemara, it could be gefen, it could be te'ina, it could be chita, but apples are not on this list. Again, the Zohar quotes apples, but you don't find it in the Gemara. But that's where at least you know now where it comes from. So the Gemara goes weiter. The Gemara both said this is amazing. Divrei lemuel melech masa asher yisartu imo. So we'll see, watch this. The pasuk from Mishlei says, these are the words of Lemuel. Melech masa asher yisartu imo. So we'll say, Lemuel is Shlomo HaMelech. Lemuel, Rashi says over here, it's almost right across. Lemuel Melech, Shlomo Melech, Lemuel Ma'asa v'chachmos l'Hakadosh Baruch Hu. So we'll say, so Lemuel is another name for Moshe, for Shlomo, and it says about Shlomo, Asher Yisarto Imo, that his mother afflicted him. Remember, Shlomo's mother is who? Is Bathsheba. So the pasuk seems to say that Bathsheba literally afflicted her son. Sarto. So what does this mean? Let's listen to this. Melamed shekafa also imo al ha'amut. So what does it mean? It literally, we'll say whether it's a literal or figurative. It means that Shlomo's Melech Batsheva tied him to a post, to an amud. Now we'll say, now why would you tie someone to a post? So remember again, Gizman Gemara, even beforehand, they would tie someone to a post when they were going to flog them, when they were going to give them malchus. So Shlomo Melech's mother tied him to a post as if she was about to flog him. Now we'll say, now the context of this is the following. Shlomo obviously was magnificently wealthy. And Shlomo Melech begins to overindulge a bit in the pleasures of this world. So a mother is a mother is a mother. I don't care if you're the king. I don't care if you're the Gadol Ador. I don't even care if you're a doctor. Right? At the end of the day, right, if a mother goes ahead and sees her son acting out, what is she going to do? She's going to give him musar. So can you imagine this? The mother of the king ties her son to a post as if to flog him. She gives him this musar. Amrlo, Mabri, son, Ma bar bitni, what is happening with you, the son of whom? Ma bar nidari, what is happening with you, the son of my vows? Mabri. So we'll say, so what is this? In the Gemara Darshan, Mabri, what does it mean about Sheva? Says, what's happening with you, my son? Hakol yodim sha'avichu yarishamayim hava. So Bathsheba says to Shlomo, everyone knows that your father, David HaMelech, was a righteous man. So what happens? When they see you overindulging a bit in the pleasures of this world, they're going to say, Akshav Yomru Ima Garmalo. They're going to say what? Well, where does Shlomo get this overindulgence in material pleasures of this world? Can't come from his father, because his father was such a tzaddik. He must come from where? Must come from the mother's side. Right? He must come from Bathsheba's side. So Bathsheba says, Shlomo, you're going to give me a bad name because they're not going to hinge your overindulgence on your father. They're going to put it on me. Umar bar bitni. And what does it mean ultimately again? The son of my womb. Let's listen to this. Kol hanoshim shel beis avich, kevan shemes abros, shuv enon ros pnei hamelech. So this is actually quite interesting. It used to be the custom was that when one of the king's wives would become pregnant, so she would not have relations with the king again until after birth, just the derech of the kingdom. However, ani dachakti v'nechnasti kedei shiuli ben mizuras umaluban. Bathsheba says, even after I became pregnant with you, literally I pushed my way into the king's chamber. We'll say, according to the Gemara, it appears that it is healthy. We saw this actually in other places as well, that it is very healthy for the child, for a woman to have relations in the 9th month of pregnancy also. The last trimester of pregnancy. So Bathsheba says to her son, all the other wives of the king, once they became pregnant, they didn't have relations with the king anymore. Me, I pushed my way into the king's chamber and had relations with him again in order that my offspring should be healthy. It's a little bit of an awkward conversation to have with the kid. Yeah. But the point what she's saying over here is you better not get sidetracked by the overindulgences in life, because I put a lot into you. I pushed my way into the king's room. I pushed her into the king's life in order that you should ultimately be a healthy child. Uma bar nidri. And you are the son of my vows. So all of the king's wives used to make nadarim. Yeheli ben Hagun Malchus. So let's remember again. So it's not a new dynamic that people make deals with God. So right, all the other wives of the king would say, God, I'll do this, this, and this. I'll take this on, take that on, if you give me a son who is going to be king. Vanina Darti Bathsheba said, I never made a deal with God about having a son who would be king. Instead, Vanina Darti Vamarti, Yeheli Bain, Zoris, Umemula Batorabo said, first wide line, Vahagul and Avias. So Bathsheba says, my son, I never made deals with God that he should give me a future monarch. Instead, I made the darim that my son should be a tzaddik, that my son should be filled with Torah, that my son should be fit for prophecy. So you better not get sidetracked with the pleasures of this world, because this is an incredible use, an incredible mussar also. As children, how much akara satov we have to have towards our parents. Aryeh, you're lucky you can have akara satov right now. So the idea over here is also our parents put so much into us. And again, it's so easy. Everybody, We live in an age where we're always looking to blame someone for when things don't go wrong. For when things go wrong. And sometimes the easiest people to blame are our parents. My father didn't love me enough, and my mother didn't this. And sometimes, look, you know what? Sometimes parents do really poor jobs. It's absolutely true. Sometimes parents really mess up. Sometimes parents are quite reckless. Usually it's not because they want to be reckless, and it's not because they don't care. It's often because they themselves didn't have the tools, and probably as a result of their own upbringing. But I like to think, even sometimes the parents who didn't do the best job, they tried, and they put in so much effort to try to get their kids on the right path, even though sometimes they make terrible mistakes. So Bathsheba saying to Shlomo, my dear son, you have no idea how much effort I put into you. You have no idea how much I try to make sure that I don't care if you're king or not king, but how much I put into make sure that you're going to be righteous, you're going to be a tzaddik, you're going to be good. Don't mess it up. Don't get sidetracked with the pleasures of this world. So the pasuk goes on. So we'll say, this is again in Mishlei. Al lemalachim lemuel. Al lemalachim sheso yayin l'rozdin eishech. So we'll say, so what does this mean? Al lemalachim lemuel. Al lemalachim shasi. Al lemalachim amrulo. Malacha eitzum malachim sheshosim yayin umishtakrim. V'omrim lama lanu kel. So Bathsheba says, we'll say third wide line. Bathsheba says to Shlomo, why do you frequent the kings who drink a lot of wine, and when they become inebriated, they say, who needs God? Why? So what Bathsheba, so you imagine what Bathsheba is saying to her adult son, the king, the Melech Yisrael, the most powerful monarch in the world at his time, is what? I don't like your friends. I don't like the people you're hanging around with. Right? Why are you hanging around with those guys? Those guys, they drink too much. Right? When they drink, they get all caught up in their own power and their own prowess, and they say, "Who needs God?" Incredible. Well, the roznim eshechar, misha kol rozei giluyim lo yishtai v'yishtaker. So she says to him, "Well, the roznim eshechar, to the one, you Shlomo, who knows all this, who knows all the secrets of the world, right? Yishtayim v'yishtaker. You should go in and drink wine and get inebriated." Ikadami, others say, "Misha kol roznim olam mashkim lepischo." You Shlomo, who the ones who know the secrets of the world. Rashi points out to the members of the Sanhedrin, you Shlomo, who knows all the secrets of the world. For whom all those who know the secrets of the world, i.e. the members of the Sanhedrin, who come to your door, Yishtaim Yishtaker, should you go ahead and drink wine? So she's giving him some significant musar. Amr Yitzchak, Minayin Shechaz Shlomo B'Hoda L'Imo. How do you know that Shlomo Melech said, Mom, you're right. Mom, you're right. Right at the end of the day, how do we know that he said, okay, he accepted the musar of his mother, and he did tshuva? D'chsev, quotes over here the pasuk, Ki bar anochi mi'ish, for the binas adam li. Shlomo Melech said, Ki bar anochi mi'ish. Sometimes I'm even more base than the most basic man, for the binas adam li, and I didn't have proper wisdom. Ki bar anochi mi'ish. What does it mean that I'm even less? Like bar says lashon beer. I lack wisdom, even less than the most basic man. Who is the ish? D'chsev minoach. D'chsev vayochal noach ish ha'adama. Shlomo says, I'm committing the same mistakes of Noach. Noach's mistake, Rabosai, was when rebuilding the world. What's the first thing he planted? He planted a vineyard, right? Why? Out of all the things he could have planted, first he planted vineyard. Shlomo says, I didn't even learn the lesson of the ish. For lo binas adam li. And I didn't even learn the lesson of Adam. Who is that? Ze Adam Arishons. Because I must remember, according to this approach of the Gemara, both for Adam and Noach, their undoing was wine. So Shlomo Melech says, how could it be that I didn't even learn the basic lessons of humanity? Humanity was undone 2 times, once by Adam and once by Noach. How? I will say through grapes. Ultimately, again, through wine. Shlomo Melech says, I run the risk of allowing myself to be undone in the very same way. So he was Makabal the musar of his mother. Incredible. Post back to Ben Sora Mora. So remember again, the Mishnah said that if the Ben Sora Umora ate meat and drank wine, but he did it, let's say, as part of a Sudas mitzvah or Bechaburas mitzvah with the Chevra who were engaged in some kind of mitzvah, then he does not become a Ben Sora Umora. Amr Yavo, Eno Chayev, Yochal Bechaburas Shekula Srikin. Shavuot says he only becomes a Ben Sora Umora if he eats in the company of Bosai Srikin. Bosai Srikin are people who are not good. Not good, like empty people. We learned in the Mishnah that if he ate in a chaburas mitzvah, he does become a ben sora mora. Time of the mitzvah. It seems to be the reason that he's not a ben sora mora is because again it's a sudas mitzvah, halav mitzvah. But if it's not a sudas mitzvah, afagav the lo kulos strikin, then it seems to be again that he can become a ben sora mora even if not all of the people are bad. Hakamashalan the afagav the kulos strikin. Kevan the mitzvah ka'asik lo nimshach is actually quite beautiful. What the Mishnah is going to teach us is the following: that even if this boy is eating his stolen meat and his stolen wine in the company of really, really bad people, but it happens to be that what? They're at a sudas mitzvah, we're not concerned that he's going to become a ben sora mora. Why, Rabbi Osai? Because since the prohibited consumption is taking place in the context of a mitzvah, we're not concerned that he's going to be drawn after a life after crime. We'll say that this is actually an amazing sort of think about it. Look at Rashi for just a moment. Rashi says, Hakam Ashmalan, it's right across in Rashi. Masnisin, da filu kulos srikin, kevan de ichpor hashtal mitzvah, pater, or the olam dino de ben sora mora, eno ela bechabura sing. Listen to this, I'm saying. We're only concerned that the boy is going to become ben sora mora when he's eating with a bad chevra, and they're not eating for the purpose of a mitzvah. But if it's a bad chevra, let's like imagine this scene. Let's say he's with a whole group of Rishayim, but they happen to be at a siyum. They'll do it at a siyum. Now he's eating stolen meat and stolen wine, or I should say, he's eating meat and wine that he purchases stolen funds from his parents, but he's at a siyum, so then he can't become ben sora mora. We'll say, why not? Because since he's participating in a mitzvah, even though again, the food that he's eating is from funds that he stole from his parents, we're not concerned that he's going to be led after a life of crime. We'll say, what do you see from here? You see the power of surrounding yourself with positive influences. That here, even though again he's with bad guys and he's eating meat that was purchased with stolen monies from his parents, but because it's by a siyum, I'm using a siyum as an example, because it's by a mitzvah, the power of the mitzvah has the ability to draw him towards the light, so to speak. I would say it's an incredible mussar that sometimes when we have difficulty changing ourselves, even if you can't change yourself, the best thing you could do is what? Surround yourself with positive influences. Surround yourself with positive people. Put yourself in the right context, because by definition, our surroundings influence who and what we are on the inside. Sometimes I can't change myself on the inside. But if I change my influences, if I change those things around me, ultimately, again, those seep in and have a fundamental impact on who and what I am. An incredible Gemara. Let's go weiter. Similarly, both say, if you took part in the Ibra Chodesh meal, remember the Basar v'Yayin Masko. Now, both say, now the Mishnah seems to indicate that when they would declare a month to be an Ibra Chodesh, in other words, a month of 30 days, they would add on an extra day. They would have a Su'uda. So you're saying then that this Su'uda, the Ibra Chodesh Su'uda was meat and wine. But time we learned, in only law ela bepas dagan v'kitnis. In fact, both say the menu of the Ibra Chodesh meal was quite simple. It was pas dagan, grain bread, and legumes. This was the meal. Hakamashlan. So we'll say, so what do you see from here? This teaches us, afagav bein only law ela pas v'kitnis. We'll say, even though those who were at the meal only ate grain bread and legumes, v'iu asik basar v'yayin v'achal, and this boy brought up basar and yayin to eat from this meal, to eat at this meal. Kevin the mitzvah ka'asik lo mamshich. Rabbi says same yisod as before. Even though again the menu for the Ibra Chodesh meal was grain bread and legumes, and this boy is bringing what? He's bringing meat and wine, and not just only meat and wine, but what? Meat and wine that was purchased for money that he stole from his parents. But since he's eating it in the context of a mitzvah meal, we're not concerned that he's going to become a ben sora rumora, because since he's enveloped by the mitzvah, since he's enveloped by the kiddush of the meal, so even though again he's eating prohibited items, nevertheless we don't assume he's going to become ben sora rumora. But the power again of positive influences. In olim bibra chodesh pachos me'asar bnei adam. I will say furthermore again, the Brisa tells us that when declaring ultimately again an Ibra Chodesh, You do not in Olin. We'll say in Olin is lashon of go up, because remember again, many times throughout history they would would meet in attics, right? The Gemara talks about the aliyah. So you don't bring up less than 10 people. Furthermore, again, the menu is quite simple. You only bring up grain, bread, and legumes. Furthermore, again, you only go up, say, on the evening of the extra day. And you don't go up by day, you only go up by night. But we learn you can only go up by night and not by day. As Rabbi Chia bar Abba said, as Rabbi Chia bar Abba said, Achrifu va'olu achrifu poku ki'echi d'neshamu b'cho inshi. Because Rabbi Abba used to say to his sons that when they were participating in this meal, in this suda for the Ibra Chodesh, he would tell them, Achrufi va'olu, go up ultimately again while it's still light outside, and come back down before the sun comes up. In other words, he would say, go up when it's still light so that people will see you're going up. If people see you going up, then what? Then they'll realize that you're going up for the Suda to celebrate or to mark the additional day, and come back down before the sun comes up so that people will see you coming down. In other words, he would tell his kids, go up to the meal and come down from the meal at a time when people will see you, so that people will know ultimately again that an additional day has been added to the month. So let's just go a little bit weiter. So remember again, if the Ben Sora Remora ate Meiser Sheni in Yerushalayim, ultimately again it can't become Ben Sora Remora. Because they both say, even though what he's eating is asur, but since it is a normative consumption, therefore we are not concerned that he's going to be drawn to a lifetime. In other words, they both say, what you begin to see over here is that in order for a child to be become Ben Sora Remora, the act of consumption itself has to be something that is absolutely unequivocally illegal and totally out of the norm. If somehow it occurs within the act of what we'll call normal consumption, he can't become Ben Sora Remora, even though the items that he's eating are bought with stolen funds from his parents. Similarly, again, if the Ben Sora Remora eats the veilus, treifos, katzim, v'ramas, and some non-kosher food items or creepy crawly things, Rava, achal basar of inonasa ben sora rumor. Let's listen to this. Rava says, if he eats chicken, right? So if he steals money to purchase chicken, he doesn't become a ben sora rumor. In other words, say it seems to be the logic is no one's drawn after chicken. Right? No one goes in and is drawn to a life of crime, right? To support the chicken habit, right? It's a meat. Okay, a person get into a chicken habit. No one has. What we learn. We learned in the Mishnah that if he goes in and he steals money and he eats the veilus of trevosh katzim, that's come in Sora Mora. So what I say sounds like the reason he doesn't come in Sora Mora is why? Because these are non-kosher items. I could infer from that, but say that's what? That if he stole money to eat kosher food items, even fowl, right, even chicken, that he could become a ben Sora Mora. Let's listen to this. Kitnan nami masnisin lahashlim. Or listen to this. Chicken can play a role. When does chicken play? When does fowl play a role? Look at Rashi for just a moment. Rashi says over here, lahashlim. It's 2, 4, 5 lines up from the bottom on Rashi. Last one on lahashlim. Shafilu achal tartimar basar chaser kizayis mebehema tahora. Vishtim letartimar mi basar ofos tzemeim pater mishum de'eno shemei bekalosh shamakum dekavas v'tar mechad. But listen to this. When could fowl play a role? We'll say, in order for a boy to become Ben Sora Mora, he has to steal enough money to purchase a tartimar of meat. Let's say Rabbi say he steals money and he purchases a tartimar of meat, but it's a tartimar minus a kizayis. But he fills up that last kizayis with what? With chicken. So we'll say under those circumstances, he can become a Ben Sora Mora. So if he eats a tartimar of chicken, that does make him a Ben Sora Mora. But if he eats a tartimar minus a kizayis of meat, and he fills in that last kizayis with chicken, then enochinami, that can make a ben sora mora. We'll say one more line, then we'll stop. Achol davar shu mitzvah udvar adeira. We'll say if he goes there and he eats something that is a mitzvah and a dvar, what does this mean? Dvar mitzvah tanchumi avelim. So we'll say, so dvar mitzvah ultimately again would be tanchumi avelim. We'll say, what does this mean? Take a look at Rashi. Rashi over here, le'esuyah tanchumi avelim. Dafagav the chantara b'alma havi. So we'll say, so dvar mitzvah be tanchumi avelim. Dvar avera tiny tzivah. So we'll say, dvar mitzvah mean, let's say again, he participates in the su'uda of tanchumi avelim. He participates in the meal of consolation for the mourners. Or dvar avera is he eats on a tiny sibur. So we'll say either way, these things will not make him a ben sora morav. At time of my, what's the reason? Amikra einenu shomea bekolenu, bekolenu v'lo bekolo shamakom. That I will say ultimately again, a child only becomes a ben sora umora when what? When he disobeys. When it's clear that his issue is parental disobedience. But when his issue is what? Divine disobedience. And I will say that's problematic, of course. But that does not make him a ben sora. A ben sora umora is a very specific framework of prohibition where there's a clear and blatant disregard for human authority, for his parents. But again, if the blatant disregard is for God, there are other issues that come up. There are other things you have to deal with, but that is not the Torah ben sora umora. All right, so we'll stop over here for today. We'll pick up at Mass tomorrow.